We just finished our ball joints. That was a whole nother mess. Yesterday and kind of the end of this morning, we finished our handbrake mount, little aluminum mount. So this is unproven technology right now, so we don't know if we're gonna modify it or change it. But no matter what the handbrake setup mounting is gonna look like, the line kit's gonna be the same. So we got a Chase Bay's inline handbrake kit. So this is pretty much just like a plug and play line kit for inline handbrakes on the E36. So it's an inline handbrake kit from Chase Bay's. It's supposed to be a factory bolt-on kit. There's like 0 instructions on how to install this stuff. So this is the way that we're going to be installing it. So we got our handbrake mounted. I was kind of mocking up some of the lines. So it comes with a lot of fun stuff. This is supposed to go under the car. So where we're at right now, none of this stuff is tight yet, by the way. So we've got this line plumbed in there. That's going back to that T-fitting. And then we've got one of the lines split off. So that line is teeing off of there and going into this line. And now this line is where we're going to go to our bulkhead fittings. So this is another 90-degree line. These two lines are coming out under the subframe. This line is going to the master. This is another line that comes off of the T-fitting. And then here's the other bulkhead fitting. So I don't know why I feel like this isn't
long enough.
I know. You know, it's because we have the handbrake so far forward. So I don't know what this is from, but we have male-on-male fittings on the end of this. So if we could like plug this, like this, out of the ABS unit into a line, you know what I mean? That would be hot.
Why don't we just try and use this to lengthen?
Like that? We're gonna get so hosed for doing this wrong.
Is it a male?
This one's a double male fitting.
And here, boy. That's a double male? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's a double male. So I guess run that single line like as a line extension for this, and then we can run that through to that T-fitting. I don't think that's supposed to fit onto that. That's my point. That is for what?
That's for the master.
No,
this?
The one that's in for the master is already in the master.
No, the one going from the master to the master.
That's this red one right here, the red fitting on it. That's what that's for. For these bulkhead fittings. Okay, so I guess now we just gotta drill out our underside.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
Takes out clutch and immediately goes right through.
I thought it was spinning. I thought a little bit more, so you don't fucking gum up the threads.
Nah, you want that nice fit, bro.
All right.
That'll go right there. Look at this, dude. Give me the camera. So here's what we look like on the underside. That little fitting sticking through. Sick. Okay. That's perfect, dude. Yeah. So here's it with a line attached. And that goes just right up. Yeah, get down there.
Oh yeah.
That's super well done. I like that.
Oh yeah. And then we could zip tie it to the fucking sway bar.
Yeah, we could. You know?
Not zip tie it, but like get like a rubber thing and kind of like do like an OEM style.
It's like dead center.
Well, hey, you wanted to go back here. It was a group effort. I was your spotter.
I'm saying right there would have been a little bit more forward. I just it would have been fine. That's too funny.
That's good, huh?
That could not have been any better. Alright. Cool. Hold that in place and I'll bolt that down. Alright, so we got the driver's side pretty much done on this. So this fitting the hole literally mirrors that side. So this side has the exhaust heat shield on it, so I put it underneath the exhaust heat shield. And I kind of ran it parallel through the heat shield, kind of bent the heat shield out of the way so it wasn't really rubbing. Come on, ISO. Alright, so there's the heat shield. So I kind of bent the center down, and it's going to come out around the strut. Then that will get into our caliper there. So that should be good for that side. Bulkhead fitting is the same on both sides, kind of how that all goes together. With the heat shield fitting, with the heat shield on, you can't really see it, so I didn't bother putting the camera down under there. So we do need to figure out how this is gonna work, because this doesn't seem to be...
Run that extender.
So it doesn't seem to be long enough. So maybe it would have been wise to put the handbrake where Danny originally wanted it. Back up here. But this will be nice because this way we have more slack going to the upfront lines. So,
which would have been a lot harder. It's a lot easier to deal with a lot more space.
Yeah, back here, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. So,
plus we have that extra line, so if we can find a male-to-male fitting, we can still hook that up.
I think we're gonna go try and find a male-to-male fitting. See if we can get something to work like that.
We need to take this line with us, right?
Yeah, if we can get a male-to-male that goes, you know.
Because these are the same, aren't they?
Yeah, all the fittings are the same for it. Then that would be like absolutely perfect. You know?
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're going to finish running the line kit for today. This going here, so that's going to run down there. I think our best bet for this is going to be kind of running it parallel to this harness, and we'll probably have to drill a hole like there or something in the chassis to run that line through. And we can make that Bang & 90 into the ABS unit, which is down there. So we're gonna start putting holes and stuff and see how far we get. Alright, so while the camera was charging, I drilled a hole with the biggest drill bit that I got right through there to run the line. We connected it to the handbrake. We tightened all of these fittings. We tightened the handbrake itself down, and we tightened all of the lines going back and all of the fittings going back. We're gonna secure this stuff with zip ties. Everything's still a mess in here. So we got our line kit here, so we're going to start at the ABS unit from where we're going and just kind of follow the lines back for everyone who wants to do this stuff themselves. So the far right line, that line right there, if it'll focus, that line right there is going to the rear brakes. So we're going to plumb this Johnny into that fitting. From there, it goes through the firewall, down through here, up into, through our hot boy handbrake mount, into the handbrake, out of the handbrake, runs back to our junk fitting, little extender line, to the T, 2-line split. We got a line coming out right into the 90-degree fitting, which goes to the under chassis, and we got one that mirrors that. We did that one the other day, and that's tucked up under the heat shield. That's going to come out here, and we're going to put it on the left side of the coil because that's the way the fitting is going to rest a little bit easier. Not to mention it's not going to be like in the way. If something's going to hit coming from here, like the tire or something, it's going to hit the shock before it rips our brake line to shreds. So we got to plug that into the caliper, and we got the same dealio coming down over here. So we're going to plug that into the caliper. So we are ready to start tying everything into the brake system itself. So I think we're going to start with the master up there by the ABS unit. And then we're going to plug that in, get that tight, and then we're going to do each of our calipers and then start bleeding.
Are you sure you want to do it that way?
What way do you want to do it?
Lines in the calipers first and then?
Well, the thing is, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, so if we do that first, right, we're going to have brake fluid leaking out of the lines that were coming out, and so the reservoir is going to start lowering. We're going to have fluid dripping out.
It's going to lower either way.
Versus we do it this way, and it's going to lower into the handbrake system, so we're not losing
hopefully
fluid.
By time it
That's what I'm saying. Like it'll like start bleeding itself, kind of as we're doing it, because those are going to be open, so it's going to be like gravity bleeding. So I was thinking we do this first.
Okay, yeah.
That way it'll be minimal brake fluid loss, and it'll like kind of pre-start the
bleed.
bleed.
We can always have as much brake fluid loss as we need.
Well, I mean, it's just like
black.
brake fluid's a mess,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? So minimizing how much exposure time we have to that stuff because it's not very cooperative fluid. I think that'll be the way. And then once that's done, we'll get it all bled, and then we'll start worrying about tying the lines off, because this line is going to have a lot of slack, which we don't know what we're going to do with. And then we're probably going to end up zip tying all of this stuff and kind of tidy it up. Like we could pull this back a little bit more and tie that off somewhere. It's got interior parts everywhere. This is the life of a project car, so. And we'll figure out how all that's going to work. So hopefully we don't have any problems plugging into the ABS unit like that. The reason I'm tying it into the ABS unit is because if we tie it into the master, then we're gonna have an open brake line going into the ABS unit. I don't really think that's a good idea. The only other way to do it aside from that, I guess, would be to completely delete the ABS, which is like a little bit more than we're trying to get to right now.
Yeah.
So keeping the ABS unit full of fluid, and you know, it does work.
Yeah.
So I mean, even with this, it'll still work. I just don't know if it's gonna like it too much. Like worst case, we can pull the fuse out and just delete the ABS that way.
Well,
but
what
like,
I'm thinking is what will happen, there's two scenarios in my head for the ABS. We rip the e-brake and ABS freaks out, or we rip the handbrake and it doesn't freak out, and we're fine.
well, I agreed. But what I don't want to do is leave an open line to the ABS.
That's going to be going back. The fluid, I mean, it'll pull fluid for, back a little bit, but it'll push the fluid back that's behind in the master up here, back, and then lock it, which it shouldn't necessarily affect the ABS.
Yeah, the other thing to that is this line is like coming out this way, and the ABS or the brake line's coming out of the master go that way, so we'd have to bang a 180, like bend the line or something. But this way it's going to plug straight in like that versus
not.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be like a much more natural.
Yeah, I think it'll work out. I think it'll be fine.
Line routing. So
yeah.
All right. I guess now we start making moves.
Yes?
It is cracked. Dude, it's so funny. Some of my my subscribers are starting to talk and like comment and Borat.
Very nice. Great success.
Yeah, I posted a video today and someone was like, "It's so very nice," and I'm like, "Great success." I'm about it, dude. It's so funny. It's so good. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, home free, baby. Home free, baby. Oh.
All right.
Oh, too easy, bro. I don't know.
You thought it was?
I don't think I can. No. But it feels like it's going in fine. I'm guessing just because it's
new.
Yeah. You know. Like if it was binding, I would feel it binding.
Yeah,
but it's not binding.
I know.
I explain for the people who'd be like, "You are making a strip of the thing with your face," and I'm like, "No, this is not so."
It's very windy today.
Like, I am like thoroughly impressed by how well this handbrake setup is like going.
Especially for
like
the price.
Like good job on you, Chase Bays, for making like actual quality stuff. Like it's such, like it's sad to say that it's like actually kind of a rare thing, you know?
Yeah, like an aftermarket company.
But like this was, like we drilled 3 holes and bolted it on and it was fine. We just had to make some brackets. And even then making the brackets was a mistake on my part because I could have like easily ordered a bracket.
Yeah, but we like to do shit ourselves, so.
That's fair. Flex my shitty fab skills on my channel whenever I can. All right.
We are tight on the ABS side.
So we do the calipers.
Every time I come to Quinn's house, I'm fucking stoked for this.
That sticker there was like so sick.
I know.
Such a good.
We gotta. Oh, you have another one?
We could put one on the other fender.
No, put it on that one.
Oh, we could, yeah.
Yeah, put it in the same spot. Memories. Memories were made. Is it going in nice?
Oh yeah.
tighten up the big one first, all the way? So he's taking the line off over there now. That way, up here, it doesn't bind. It's a lot easier to get it off. Or else he's just fighting with it and he just wants to go back in the threads.
So there's the technique. You take that one off, and you lose your 10mm socket. Find your 10mm socket. Take this Johnny. Right there. This Johnny. Off right here. Alright. And you crack this loose already because you're a guy. And then you just swiggity swoogity. Otherwise, because it might be easier with rubber lines, but these are stainless steel braided lines. And so they do not like to twist. And so you twist your whole assembly. Of course, all this stuff has to come off anyway if you're going to be running the brake line because you don't want that shit
Hanging in there.
And now we plumb our Johnson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we spend the next 4 hours figuring out why it doesn't bleed, and then all of a sudden it works and we're done. Alright, so we spent probably the better part of 2.5, 3 hours getting the bleeding dialed in. That stupid little crush fitting that we had started pissing immediately, which is awesome. So we got the T-fitting that comes with the kit. And then we picked up a brass fitting at Home Depot to kind of plug it, and so far it's been holding pretty tight. So just some residual fluid left on from when I changed it out. So far that's good.
There's no fit, there's no on it. There's none on it.
Yeah,
I wiped the whole thing down.
It's just a little moist.
On what?
On the fitting.
It shouldn't be.
Is it? Or is it just?
It's just that color. That's just how it is.
Oh, that's just the finish on it. Okay. So yeah, it's not wet. So we bled the rears. It took a little while, and then we bled the front. So give us a run through on the handbrake.
It's in.
It's in. Well, I mean the bleeding procedure for the boys at home.
So if you're gonna do an inline, e-brake system, the ideal way to do it is to crack the bleed screw on the caliper that's farthest away from the master. So if you're on a left-hand drive car, it's, you know, the right rear. If it's a right-hand drive car, it's the left rear. And you open up the bleed screw, you push down on the regular brake. If you have a brake booster, then you need to pump it first before you crack the bleeder. But if you don't, then you just push down after the bleeder's cracked, and then you pull the handbrake down. Fluid will come out, tighten up the bleeder, slowly let the handbrake up, and slowly let off the pedal, and that's pretty much it. Just rinse and repeat until you have no more air bubbles.
So we pumped it like 3 or 4 times, and then he came up. He said open, so I opened the bleed screw. He pushed down on the pedal, and then he pulled back on the handbrake. I closed it, and then he let up on the handbrake, and then let up on the pedal, and just kind of rinse and repeat. So we kind of did like an initial pedal only bleed to get some of the fluid out, and then we started integrating the handbrake, and very quickly the handbrake started tightening up. So it feels pretty good now. We did a little bit of a test with it up on the stands like this, so we put it into 3rd gear, got it up to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, put the clutch in, ripped the handbrake, and these things locked up pretty much immediately. So that's a good sign. So Danny's finishing up tightening one of the bolts that still needs to be tightened on the handbrake, and then I'm going to throw the wheels on. It's good?
Yep.
Okay. Sweet. So we're going to throw the wheels on, take all the junk out of this thing, and then go take it for a drive and make sure that it locks them up.